Boxing truth here. Alright, let me bang out this prediction video for one of the upcoming fights this weekend, the co-feature Showtime Barclays Center between Jermell Charlo and Erickson Lubin. It should be a good prize fight between the two guys. Their styles should mesh well. Both guys come in with a lot of confidence. Both guys are coming off good performances. They're both undefeated, so it's a lot on the line for this fight. It's not a fight Jermell would have took if he wasn't forced. Definitely not. But he has to defend his claim. He's got to defend his right as champion, and he's gonna be in a tough fight. He's gonna be fighting a young lion, a young phenom, who's being fast-tracked to becoming a boxing star. And Lubin, he's being fast-tracked as his team believes in him. They believe in his talent, and rightfully so. I mean, he's a pretty damn good fighter. When you watch him, I'm wild with some of the knockouts he's produced in his career. I've watched a lot of his fights. I've been studying both guys. There's not really much footage on Jermell for some reason. There's only a few fights. Couldn't really find his last fight. I watched it, but I've only watched it about one time. So those are only some highlights. There's very few fights on YouTube, full fights, when it comes to Jermell. There's a bunch of fights when it comes to Erickson Lubin. And you can see the talent, you can see the potential Erickson Lubin has in his interviews. He's got some personality, he's got some charisma, and in the ring as well, especially. He's producing Mike Tyson-esque like knockouts in some of his fights. And Mike Tyson discovered him. He was his first manager. Saw something in Lubin, wanted to fast track him to world title contention. Lubin decided to bypass the Olympics and start his trade in the professional ranks, and so far so good. He's 18-0, 13 knockouts, and he's fought some okay guys on the way up. I mean, what's interesting is that he hasn't fought one guy with a losing record. All the guys came in with more wins than losses. He fought a couple guys with a lot of knockouts. So he's fought punchers, he's fought some veterans, he's fought some movers. So when it comes to his progression and his learning fights, they've done an okay job. It's not the worst job, it's not the best job in the world, but it's pretty decent. He's fought punchers, he's fought movers, he's fought veterans, he's fought gatekeepers. Everything a prospect needs in order to be ready for a world title shot. Now, Jermell, he's fighting with a chip on his shoulder. He's upset. You know, he's on edge because he's got to fight this young kid who has potential. He's coming for his strap, and he's in the position where he needs to beat this. He needs to win this fight in order to get the lucrative paydays that he wants, or the big fights that he wants. He wanted the Miguel Cotto fight. He didn't want this fight. Rightfully so. I mean, he wants a big opportunity. He wants bigger names. He doesn't want to fight young, hungry guys. He wants to fight the older guys with more name recognition. But now he has to defend his right. He has to defend his claim as champion, and he's in a serious fight. And Jermell, he's feeling disrespected, not feeling he's getting the recognition he deserves. He's not regarded as the #1 junior middleweight. He's not regarded as not even the best fighter in his family. He's regarded as the weaker of the Charlo brothers, and it's because when you watch Jermell fight, he's a solid fighter. He's not bad, but there's just nothing special about Jermell. Nothing that wows you. Not even his knockouts, not his performances. He does everything. He does everything well. He uses distance, has a good 1-2, has good basic boxing fundamentals, decent speed. He's a solid fighter all around, a solid champion, but I just don't see a potential of a world beater. I don't see an elite fighter. I don't see a potential pound for pound player or a potential great fighter. I just see a solid champion, solid fighter who is what he is. He's not necessarily fought any punchers in his career, not any lights out punchers that I can recall. You know, Matarosians, Hatleys, not the worst competition in the world, but not the best either. He has a little bit of a better resume in terms of name recognition. He's fought more experienced guys, but one reporter asked Jermell, is Erickson Lubin the best opponent he's fought on paper at least? And he was upset at the question, didn't like the question, and went at the reporter for asking him it. But I'll answer. He said, "Yeah, I need to answer that question, not me." That's what he told the reporter. So I'll answer that question for Jermell. Erickson Lubin is the best fighter he's fought on paper, in terms of talent, in terms of speed, skills, power, you name it. He's definitely the most dangerous, most talented, at least on paper. He still have to fight the fights, so we'll see what goes down tomorrow night between these two. But it's going to be a good prize fight. It's a lot on the line. Jermell's going to be at his best. He's coming in with confidence. He wants to defend his honor as WC champion at 54 and wants his recognition. So he's going to be wanting to win this fight real bad, because there's more opportunities in the future if he does. But I'm just watching Lubin. I'm watching his performances, and I just see more potential in this kid. I see more talent. I see more explosiveness. He's a young phenom, just like Mike Tyson was in his day. And every few generations that passes by, a young phenom, every once in a while, comes along and wows the boxing world. Mike Tyson did it in his day. Felix Trinidad did it in his day. There's been a few others. Manny Pacquiao did it in his day. He was a young phenom as well. Every once in a while, a young fighter, a very young fighter, is showing greatness very early on in his career, or he's showing a lot of explosive talent, and that's what Lubin is showing in his fights. He's had some impressive performances, some impressive knockouts. It'll be a tough fight early on. Jermell's going to use his distance. He's going to try to keep Lubin at bay with his 1-2. Lubin's going to be most likely the pursuer, walking Jermell down, as Jermell tries to keep him on the outside, uses his 1-2, which is his strength. It's his 1-2. Keeps you at distance, but Lubin is the sharper fighter. I believe he's the bigger puncher. I believe he's the more talented fighter. He's gonna put educated pressure on Jermell. He's gonna walk him down with his jab. He's gonna throw those sharp left hooks to those straight lefts to the body. And Jermell's defense is his weak point. He's very open for a lot of shots. The jab up the middle, the straight left hand from the southpaw stance to the body, which is one of Lubin's favorite shots to throw. And the biggest issue with Jermell's defense is when he throws his punches, his left hand is always too damn low, and he's wide open for a right hand from both stances, from the conventional stance, and he's wide open for a right hook, which is Lubin's bread and butter. I think Lubin's going to have a tremendous performance. It's going to be tough early on, the first few rounds. There'll be some early jitters. It's not because of the opponent for Lubin, it's because of the stage. This is his biggest stage. He's fighting for a world title, and he's a young cat. It's normal to be nervous. But once he gets those early jitters out of the way, once he gets a few rounds under his belt, he'll be warmed up, and he'll start systematically breaking Jermell down with his pressure, his power, his better sharpness, his more explosive talent. And I see Lubin winning big around the middle to late rounds, within 8 to 9 rounds. I see Lubin starting to beat Jermell up, as Jermell is, you're able to back him up to the ropes. You're able to land shots up the middle. You're able to counter Jermell as well. And Lubin's gonna land everything as he walks Jermell down towards the ropes. He's gonna land to the body. He's gonna land those right uppercuts up the middle, those left uppercuts, overhand lefts, and of course the big punch that will do big wonders for him in this fight is the right hook, especially when he punches with Jermell or counters him. I see Lubin hurting Jermell real bad with a right hook in this fight. and possibly stop him on his feet within 8 to 9 rounds. But I'm going with Erickson Lubin in this fight. I just think he's the more talented fighter. It's not about experience, it's just he has more raw talent. I see better sharpness, better explosiveness, bigger firepower, and I just see more potential overall. Jermell will never be a great fighter in my eyes. He'll always be a solid fighter, a solid champion. But I just think Erickson has more potential to be a world beater, to be a pound-for-pound player, and eventually be a great fighter. And this is his first step to accomplishing that, and beating a solid champion in Jermell. I could be wrong, but maybe Jermell will improve from the past performances. Maybe he'll be at his ultimate peak. Maybe he could keep Lubin at the end of his 1-2 for the majority of the night. Maybe he could possibly hurt him, but Lubin just looks very strong for his age. He's like a truck in there. He just keeps coming and doesn't stop. He's relentless and keeps putting firepower on you. And it's gonna be a tough task for Jermell, but I just don't see him accomplishing this feat. Lubin is gonna stop him within 9 rounds, and you're gonna hear "and the new WBC junior middleweight champion Erickson Lubin. Lubin within 9 by stoppage. Y'all let me know what y'all think. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.